This episode is brought to you by Echo Spirits. Make sure you go down and check out some of their award-winning bottles. Drink local.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We are officially live. Welcome back. Trailers Yachts, episode 49. We are amped up right now.
Live second episode. I'm so looking forward to this.
We got our new scroll on the bottom. Make sure to subscribe.
Every week it looks so much better. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. We shout out to Brandon Goodyear. He spent a couple hours in here with me today going through our camera and lights and making everything look nice and pretty for us. So
yeah, if you guys have any like production needs or anything, go look up Brandon Goodyear on Instagram. He's got a ton of different stuff, like a whole series basically breaking down cameras, microphones, software, everything. Like if you're trying to do a podcast or anything, go check him out.
yeah, he's been the brains behind helping us figure all this
and
stuff out.
He's done everything. Live TV, live news, all, like, you name it, he's done it. Really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah. He's working with the comedy.
Yeah, the indie comedy collective, right?
Yeah, the collective. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But now they want to set up a comedy show in our bar.
I love that.
So I said, absolutely, let's do it.
Our barber, well, I don't know if he's still yours, but our barber,
Mike?
Yeah, he was talking about how we needed to start doing stuff like that, because he's like, you go on YouTube and there's all these comedy shows, but no one's doing anything live, like underground kind of stuff. And then I told him the problem is we don't have a promoter.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But so these guys, sounds like they just go venue to venue, kind of as a group.
Okay.
And
is it like a
like that,
traveling show kind of thing?
I think so.
That's cool.
But I'm not really sure. So we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
No, but it's
What
live.
are we?
It's live conversation. We just get a ramble.
That's true.
That's the best part. That is the best part.
But what are we here to cover today?
We are covering military to business.
Yeah.
These are our topics of the day. So,
Yeah. For that one, I kind of wanted to go into like our background a little bit more, and kind of, especially for people who are maybe transitioning out of the military or kind of are interested even maybe going into the military, like things that have helped us from our military career, moving into maybe a different sector that we have no idea, but you have all these skills that you developed that, you know, will help you out in anything that you do, really. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that one.
yeah, I like it. And we don't talk about our military service very much.
Not at all.
But yeah, we'll jump into that. And then we're also talking about restaurant finances, which we kind of touched on a little bit last week, but I think we're going to do like a deep dive on what it actually looks like.
Yeah, I tried to reach out to a couple businesses that closed, and believe it or not, no one really wants to talk to you after that.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to put together like a little thing that basically shows, here's what the reality, the actual numbers of what it's like running a restaurant and why your burger costs what it costs.
This is going to be edgy, but I'm going to say it. What's the name of the guy who's been going around and like knocking on all the daycare? Nick Shirley or something like that?
I don't know, actually. I don't follow that stuff too much.
There's a guy like everybody's talking about right now, but you should do that with the closing businesses. Just bring a GoPro and knock on the door. Be like, talk to me. What happened? Behind the scenes,
maybe that'll be our new segment. We'll just cut it in the live segment and just be a pre-recorded thing.
Yeah.
Some short form content. The other thing I want to do as a contrast to that is getting in touch with other successful owners and doing like a shadow week of just like, we've talked about this before, but like going into their kitchen and like seeing what it's like on their side. It's what they do. Kind of like documenting that journey. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a long time.
I know, it would be super fun. I don't know if we could do like McDonald's, but like other small business owners, especially local ones who have like a few different concepts, I think they'd be receptive to it.
Yeah. We would be.
Yeah, it would be so cool.
We're not normal though. We're a little weird.
No, yeah.
Which is fair. Empire updates. We've gone back and forth on this a lot. UFC.
Yes.
324. Confirmed. Saturday.
It's happening. I feel horrible that I can't be there, but
the one fight is not happening.
Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, no. She broke her neck.
Did they replace anybody? She broke her neck?
Yeah, Kayla Harrison, I think like a week ago, she had to get surgery. No, I mean, she's pretty fucked up. Or bleep that out, but yeah, she's pretty messed up. She had to get surgery.
How did that happen?
I assume just training. She got dropped on her head.
That is why I don't train or do any cardio. It's dangerous. I don't want to die.
Sedentary is the best thing you can do for your body. As what, 5% a doctor? That's my medical advice. All right, so we got the fights. We got hockey coming up.
Yeah,
we obviously are always doing Blue Jackets stuff.
Yeah, the USA Olympic hockey is beginning of February. I think it's the second week, I want to say, is when that starts. And then they got a whole pile of games that we'll be showing. Most of the games are at 3:00 in the afternoon because it's in Italy.
Is it in Italy?
Yes, I
Well,
believe
that's kind of cool.
But I've been getting torn apart on the internet for starting conversations and not knowing people's names or where places are at.
Yeah, man, you gotta do your homework before you start.
I just wing it and start spouting things off, and I'm like, oh, does anybody else know? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I can't believe no one has mentioned the Day Brothers, but whatever.
I know.
We'll see.
They skipped right over that.
They skipped it.
But anywho, we got custom yacht shot hats for the USA hockey team that's coming up.
Some of my favorite.
All right, you want to jump into our topics?
Yeah, we got anything in the chat? No, we do not. Just me. All right. So I think the whole point of the first one that we want to talk about is going from the military to, honestly, I guess our careers right after the military and then now to a restaurant, and kind of like stuff we took away from that, what we learned, and what's kind of helped us, be somewhat successful, at least in the short term.
For me,
yeah,
I'll start this off. The whole reason I got into the military is for the career that I wanted afterwards. I never had any intent on joining the military. I was trying to get into law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I initially tried to get in a state patrol because they were the only ones that would hire you before you turn 21. Because once you get out of their academy, you're old enough.
So I have to ask, why did you want to do that and not were you just like a really big detective buff, like watching TV shows, or like? Why
did I want to do what?
Why did you want to be a cop?
How did that? Seemed awesome.
It just but you didn't follow anything in the media that kind of planted that in your mind? No,
not really. I remember from being very young, see a cop car drive by and cops and lights and sirens. I'm like, guns. That looks awesome.
You didn't watch any Cops?
I did watch Cops a lot. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, Cops is a great show.
It's so
I
good.
still like watching the old ones from the 70s, 80s, where they all got big perms. It's like black and white footage almost. It's cool. So anyways, back on track here. I tried to get into state patrol when I was 20 years old, and they said I have no life experience. So I sat down and asked the guy, I was like, well, what should I do for life experience? And he said, go to college or go to war, basically. And I said, I ain't going to college, so I'll go to war. And I talked to a buddy who had just got out of the infantry. He was out at Fort Lewis. He just got out of the Army, and he told me to go with a Ranger contract. So that's kind of the short version of how I ended up in Ranger Battalion. I had no idea what I was getting into. I just knew it would look good on paper for being a cop afterwards.
And you had no idea? You never watched Black Hawk Down or Saving Private Ryan or anything?
I had watched it, but I had no idea. No one in my family was in the military. I was homeschooled. We didn't really learn about the military.
Yeah, that had to have been a trip going through basic training and hearing about all the people saying the dumbest shit and just not knowing any better.
Well, so you look at...
So Codeman Stan says there might be an echo. And I don't know if he's meaning our wonderful echo spirits or if he's talking about the mics.
All right, we're back. I have no idea if we fixed it or not, but there may have been an echo.
Well, luckily we don't have a ton of people, so we'll be able to fix it in post.
Yeah, we're good. So anyways, no, all you see before you join the military, there's movies. Everybody looks badass.
Yep.
Or there's the commercials on TV where everybody also looks super badass. And you're like, oh, these are the guys that I'm going to be going up against. When I show up at basic training, it's going to be 300.
Yeah.
That's what I literally had envisioned in my head. And
Yeah.
like, I expected like the final product of like Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
That's who I was going into the Army with. Not even close.
No.
I got there and, you remember, Turtle?
Yeah.
He was sitting next to me on the plane out of Seattle going to basic training. And he was like, yeah, I got a Ranger contract. And he's like wearing his like Coke bottle glasses. And I'm like, you do? I'm like, all right, I'll be all right. Yeah, and it was definitely a lot different than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Because I was basing it off really nothing. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah, that's where I was lucky because my oldest brother was a Marine and then my older brother was a Ranger. So as soon as they heard that I was even thinking about joining the military, they're like, look, do this. Don't do anything else. Don't listen to anyone else. Just talk to me. Like literally just put everyone, like anyone who isn't an E6 or higher, just don't listen to them because they're dumb.
We've had a few people come in that have talked about they know we're veterans and they've talked about they're trying to join and kind of asking, well, this is what my recruiter said. I talked to one guy for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, my recruiter's saying this and I don't really know. I was like, bro, that guy's lying to you.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him. Just tell him what's what. And that's what my buddy told me. He said, when you go to the recruiting office, they're going to tell you they don't have any Ranger contracts. Yep. They're going to try to get you to sign something else and say you can get it later. Yeah. And he's like, don't sign anything, walk out and say, call me when you find it. And he's like, they'll call you the next day. They called me like 3 hours later.
That's like basically word for word. I think it was like 3 days later, or like it was a Friday when I went in and it was like Tuesday when they called me. Like, oh yeah, there's some now.
Yeah, we found it.
Yeah. So stupid, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically how I got in. And I only planned on doing my initial 4 years. Yeah. And then dipping out because I wanted the whole reason I went in was to be a cop. So I didn't want to do 20 years and then go try to be a cop. So I was just going to do the 4 years, but I actually liked it so much. I almost re-enlisted, but I didn't.
For multiple reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah. My biggest reason was my body was in pain. Yeah. My body hurt. I was 25 and I'm like, dude, if I want to go do a career and actually be able to run around and chase bad guys, I'm like, I can't keep doing this because it's killing me. Yeah.
No, it's what I tell everyone. Like the biggest defining factor of whether or not you're going to re-enlist or not is the previous 2 weeks. If you had a good 2 weeks, you'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to re-enlist. I'm going to be platoon sergeant. It's going to be sweet. And if you had a shitty 2 weeks, you're like, I'm out. Screw all this. I'm done. And then that's like, you stack enough of those together and then holy shit, you're at 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's wild.
And then everyone starts to dangle that carrot once it's time to sign a new contract. They're like, oh dude, just wait. You're going to go to Pathfinder school. You're going to go to SEER school. You're going to be an E6, a squad leader. It's going to be so sweet.
It works though.
It does work really well.
They get people.
Yeah.
Like you're going to make an extra $12 a month.
You're going to be out of the barracks. It's going to be sweet, man.
Yeah.
Pretty much the military experience is one big gaslight.
For real.
But you learn a lot though, luckily.
Yeah. It's funny before when I was trying to be a cop when I was 20 and they're like, you have no life experience. Yeah. You know, I was like, I knew I had no life experience. Mm-hmm. I was 20 years old. I'm like, of course I don't. And so after I got out of the military, it kind of put things into perspective once I got hired on and I was actually a cop. I was like, man, if I did this when I was 20, before I had all that like real experience, like I would have been worthless. Yeah. You know, it's wild. I mean, they still are hiring guys, 20 years old, but people who've worked it. One of the guys I was in the police academy with was a barista. That's his only job he ever had, Starbucks barista. And he was...
Is he still in?
I don't know. I have no idea. He wasn't with our agency because Washington State, like they all go to one training facility. So he was with...
I've always been under the impression that if you go be a cop, you're pretty much going to retire as a cop. Do they have a lot of like people who do it for like 5 years and then like what's the average, like what's the odds of making it to retirement as a police officer?
After 5 years, pretty good.
Okay.
The first 5 years is where a lot of people wash out.
Okay.
So
it's like the 10-year period for the military. It's like if you hit 10 years, you're just going to stay in.
Yeah. Most guys after 5 years, like that's where you're literally still learning how to be a cop for your first 5 years. Cause there's so much, like there's so many crimes. Yeah. There's so many, I mean, there's endless circumstances and things that can happen.
Yeah.
And it takes like, there's a certain amount of training you can have, but it takes time and like doing the job to like really understand yourself and like your partners and everything, you know, and then how to handle situations and people.
Yeah, and it's pretty much all on the job training. It's not like you guys take 2 days a week and you're like, all right, let's do scenarios. Like the military, you at least are able to train very close to like warlike settings because the military has a ton of funding and we're not always fighting a war. But like a cop, it's like, all right, 6 months academy. Good luck, sir.
Yep. And some places aren't even that long. But like what was nice for us, we had there's always a sergeant on duty and they're most of the times rolling around or they're in the office like doing reports and stuff, but they're always a phone call away. So it's like, hey, can you give me a call? And we would talk to the sergeants all the time. You know, anyone in the rank, you'd be like, hey, what do you think about this? This is what I have. It seems weird. And somewhere somebody has experienced a situation like that or will tell you what to do, but you don't always have the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I have no idea what I'm getting into and I'm by myself and I got to figure it out real quick. But it's just fun. It was exciting.
Would you say it's similar to the military mindset or do you think people are like very much different? Like, you know, with the military, there's like the brothers in arms and like you're living with like a group of 20 guys. So like there's that
aspect is the same.
It is
like the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very much the same. And like, I mean, I don't think it's, not obvious that people don't like cops. It's pretty obvious. No one likes cops.
Do you like cops?
No, I didn't like.
Exactly.
When I was a cop and a cop would drive by me, I'd be like, oh, this motherfucker trying to get me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, it's reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you are a cop, nobody like your friend group is basically cops and people you've known, your family and stuff. And
they're literally the only, just like the military, I'm sure they're the only people who will actually understand what you do.
Yes.
And like go through the same stuff.
Yeah. Cops, firefighters, like a lot of, I would say
heroes,
nurses, people in the ER.
Yeah.
Like they kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like it's easier to talk to them about it. Like firefighters, basically they go to most of the same calls.
Yeah.
For the most part. And so they have different points of view and different perspective, but you know, they kind of understand the line of work, but until you do it, it's like, you got no idea.
Yeah.
It's wild, but, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just silencing my phone.
Yeah. One of the cool things I got to do though, we're way off topic of military, but
this is fine. This is good. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back.
But one of the cool things that I got to do is take people on ride-alongs. Okay. And so I was able to you never went on a ride-along with me, I don't think.
No, I mean, I didn't really spend a lot of time in Washington after I got out.
Yeah.
I think you were a cop after I'd already left anyways, Washington State.
Yeah. It's funny. Like we didn't really hang out after.
No, not at all. I think we
had
even talk on the 3 or 4 phone calls probably the whole time.
But yeah, taking like your friends and family on ride-alongs is sweet.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, all right, let's go get into it and go chase people down. It's cool.
Now, let's transition to like the restaurant. Do you think the military or being a police officer has kind of given you more, I guess, skills to be like run a successful business?
I would say 50-50.
Yeah.
Military for leadership.
Yeah.
Developing, the planning, the operations, building out the systems, and understanding like how to work with people under you.
Yeah.
Law enforcement, becoming more of like a people person.
Oh, like the customer service side?
Yes.
Yeah.
And talking to people. Which before I was a cop, you wouldn't think that like that's something you got to be really good at. I mean, unless you think about it, you're like, all right, I got to be able to drive fast.
No, everyone. Well, the thing is, everyone thinks cops are just assholes inherently. So it's like they're just a dick bag. They're not like actually people who care about like anything. Just like, oh, I'm going to arrest you. It's like, no, you actually have to talk to people for a long time.
Yeah, and it's like you're talking to people in the worst situations.
Yeah,
you know, so it's. I always explain it when you got to be able to be a 21-year-old. If you get hired at 21 with no experience, like you worked at Starbucks and you get hired, you have to be able to, you could be 5'6", 150 pounds, a small man. You have to be able to walk into someone's house like Mike Tyson in a domestic violence and like command the room and be like, I'm here. You're not going to do whatever you want. You're going to do what I tell you to do, because like if you can't control people at a scene, then you're in big trouble. That's where everybody starts getting hurt.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to be able to have that, they call it officer presence, you know, but you have to be able to control a room or an environment and take charge. But if you don't have those skills and you walk into somebody's house who's drunk or high and throwing things and out of their mind, and you don't know how to control that person, not just physically, but like have a conversation, bring them down to where you can figure out a solution. Yeah. It starts a fight every time. You know, it's, if you don't understand, like you're screaming at somebody who's screaming, nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
And then there'll be those cops that walk in and they just start yelling or, you know, trying to command somebody to do things. You're like, yeah, he can't hear what you're saying. He's not listening.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find a new tactic, something else that you can do. But
being able to de-escalate.
Yeah. Boom.
Military de-escalation is a little bit different than
it's escalation.
It's mostly just
literally
escalation.
The opposite. But yeah, de-escalate was the big word. But no, it taught me a lot, because I realized, I mean, just interviewing people, when you start out, you get out of the academy and you start handling calls. Like you go straight onto the road and you have a training officer with you, but it's like you go up and you're like, all right, go interview that person, figure out what happened. And you'll ask like 3 questions. I'm like, all right, I think I'm good. And then you leave and you're like, I didn't ask that guy anything important. Like I didn't even get his name. And then you know, your training officer, some of them will let you get away with it, or some of them will help you. Some of them will just let you do your thing. Yeah. And then you start writing your report and they're like, what are you going to put in this report? You didn't ask him any questions. You're like, oh man, better call him. It's 11 o'clock at night. Wake him up. But yeah, learning how to talk to people and communicate with people, I think helped a lot in doing this. Yeah. It's very similar. Like bartending, somebody walks in, you have 5 seconds to build a rapport with that person. You know, whether you're going to, I don't know, see a spark in a conversation. Yeah. Where it's like, I don't know. After 5 years of doing it, I got pretty good at it though. Oh yeah, for sure. I can always, like, even from the food truck days, I'm like, oh shit, he works the window like no one's business. Like you just like, you can quickly connect with a person and like find that common ground, and like, then it just opens them up. Yeah. One of the
which
things
was very tough for me, because I went to school after, so it was like completely opposite.
Well, this is a little better scenario to train it in. Yeah. Than like people waving guns and stuff. You're like, I got to figure out how to talk to this guy real quick.
I reckon. Yeah.
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 What about you?
I think just like you touched on with the military is just leadership. Like there's so many people throw that word around a lot, and I don't think a lot of people actually think about it too much. Like what actually a good leader is versus what just a manager is. And like, I've had arguments with people, and it's like, people think they're interchangeable or not, but I just don't see it. Like with the military, you know, you always have the mission, whatever the objective is. And that's when you're actually doing the job, right? You're on target. You have to, you know, do a call out for this compound. You got to get the guys off. And then after those like 2-3 hours that you're on the compound, you leave. But now there's the 99% of the time when you're not doing the actual job that you have to develop people. So it's like management is more like task oriented, where I think like leadership is way more people oriented. And the reason why military creates such good leaders is because you are literally around those people 100% of the time at times. Like when you're deployed, you're literally living with them, you're bunking with them. So you get to know them on a very like human based level, like way more than you would know just like even some of your friends like growing up, because you're literally all the time, you know what makes them tick, you know all about their history. And like, so it's basically understanding that person and being able to maximize their potential. And I think being into the military and like seeing that and kind of like really putting a lot of thought into what leadership is, taking that to the restaurant side of things, I think has helped a ton, because it's not surface level stuff. It's like, oh, you just need to smash burgers. Like that's all I need you to do. I have all of your tasks written out and it's on a checklist and I just need you to do that. And it's like, okay, can you get someone to do that consistently? You're a good manager, but can you get them to do that and then start to look at, hey, I'm doing this. What is that person doing? What is that person doing? Being able to predict things, being able to see, hey, maybe John is having a bad day and he's kind of like, what's going on there? And actually like prying into that and like figuring out what makes people tick is what I think makes a good leader. And I think although we've had a lot of turnover with our restaurant, I think the ones that have stuck around have kind of like really resonated with them. And that has made our business where I'm a lot more trusting that we can be out of the restaurant and that people are doing the right thing. And I think that's what like a good leader does. And developing those skills in the military, I don't think I would have been able to do anywhere else.
Yeah. That's like you're saying with the work/training load in the military, 4 months deployment, 8 months of train up.
Yeah.
You know, for like a very, very specific job.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've been saying since while I was in and when I left law enforcement is like law enforcement, you get 6 months of training and then you go do a 30-year career.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
crazy.
Get 2 days a year, roughly 2, maybe 3 days of training a year. It's like one day is your range and your defensive tactics, and the other day is de-escalation policy. And like that's you're basically going to get that much training a year, and there's no way for people to like become better officers or better at their job if they're not spending any time training. Yeah. It's just doing it like grinding. And so, I mean, that's something we've talked about doing here is implementing more like training shifts or training days, which is, it's very difficult to do. Like the military is easy. It's like everyone leaves for 4 months. Everyone comes back for 8 months. We're all right here. We're all training together every day.
This is your job to train to be able to do this.
There's not like you're basically off the clock.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't have to focus on work because you're just here focusing on training, you know, which if we could double our staff and then just pay people like, hey, this is a training day, you know, there's a reason why things aren't ran that way.
Yeah. Which I think when we first started off is because we started off very much hands-on. We were there all the time. Like we built in kind of each day where there was a little bit of training, at least like, you know, they call it hip pocket training in the military, where it's just like, all right, we're a little slow. Let's go over how to smash a burger real quick. And like everyone can kind of show a technique and like actually talk about what it is and what we're looking for. Whereas now that we're kind of like trying to get more and more out of the day to day to grow the business, it's something that I think we're going to start implementing a lot more. Like probably every other month especially when we start getting busier and busier, because you don't want standards to veer too far off and then there's confusion. It's like always bringing people back into the middle, which luckily I think we have good leads. So I think they for the most part work together to make sure no one's doing their own thing, but even still.
And I pretty much spot check them like once a day when I get my burger.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's see how you guys are doing back here.
So I think that pretty much, it doesn't cover everything that I wanted to talk about as far as like the military goes, but we burn through a lot of time. So I think that's always something we can go back to and talk about, because there is hundreds of hours worth of time that you could spend talking about it, because it's pretty unique.
You know, what's funny is we have hundreds of hours of things to talk about, but man, you go on live and it's like, I ain't got nothing to say.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. That's why
It's like hard to think.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But I think the next thing I want to kind of transition to is basically what the numbers look like when you actually run a restaurant. Because you see a lot of people, I go on Reddit a lot. I look at Instagram, a lot of people complaining about, you know, how prices have gone up, how restaurants are kind of like basically cutting corners to do less quality food, not paying people fair wages and all this stuff, which are very valid. And in a lot of cases that's could be true. But I think if people had a better education on what it's like to actually run a restaurant, because you see like, oh, there's hundreds of restaurants all over the place. It's got to be an easy job to get into. No, it's not.
I don't know why we did it.
It sucks. It's like, it's really, really, really hard to be successful. And you have to have a lot of time and probably money, because when you look at like what it actually like the numbers and like how it all breaks down, you're only making like 5% and 10% if you're like in the elite level of restaurants.
Yeah.
So it ain't easy.
No. And I mean, I don't know. It's not that difficult to make a restaurant that breaks even or barely gets by. You know, building, I mean, and I think it's something we heard early on is like, you're not going to build any sort of wealth out of one restaurant. The only way is like multiple, like, cause you're getting such a small amount from each, like such a small percentage. If you have 5 of them giving you a small percentage, that's how you can grow the pot, you know, but like the percentage that you make out of one restaurant is.
Yeah. Difficult. And I think I've learned a ton, just like, you know, we've never ran a restaurant. We've never been a GM. We've never looked at like the numbers and what they're supposed to look like for a thriving business. We've kind of always gone it from zero.
Yeah.
And so when you actually kind of think about it, say you start a restaurant and it costs you $500,000 to do the build out. Well, let's go even less than that. Let's say it just costs you $100,000 to do a build out. You know, you have a 4,000 square foot space. You're paying about $8,000 in rent every month. You also have to factor in utilities. So 8,000, you know, let's say utilities are another 15%. Let's just round it up to 10,000 a month for rent and utilities, just for math's sake. So you have to pay fixed every month $10,000. Well, if you look at what your cost of goods and your labor, your variable costs, that's going to basically take 70% of every dollar you sell. You're only going to keep 30 cents because you have to pay people and you have to have food to give people. And that's in a successful restaurant. Like those numbers, when you're slow, labor can creep way higher and so can cost of goods. It's like, it's a lot. So in order to recoup your $100,000 for a successful restaurant, you want your rent to be about 10% of your total sales every month. So if you're paying $10,000 in rent, you have to be making $100,000 for you to even probably have a chance of getting a profit. So every dollar you make less than $100,000 every month, you're likely losing money. So if you make $90,000 that month, there's a very good chance you lost $10,000. If you made $80,000 that month, you probably lost $20,000. And guess what? If you made $110,000, you didn't make $10,000 in profit. You only made $3,000 in profit. You get what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Like it's the downside is really, really high and the upside is basically 30%, 10% if you're lucky. So if you put in $100,000 to start a restaurant and you're making $100,000 every month, you're only taking home 10% of that. You're taking home $10,000 if you're lucky. Now, are you paying yourself? Do you have everything kind of like managed? If you don't, you know, it's going to take you a really long time to pay and recoup that money, especially like when you open a restaurant, unless you're a successful restaurateur and you've done it a few times, more often than not, you're going to lose money. You're not going to make that $100,000 every month because, you know, it takes a long time to build a customer base. Loyal customers takes a lot of time. And so, you know, you could potentially lose another $50,000 that first year. So now you have to make up $150,000. You know, you're looking at 2 to 3 years just to break even about any restaurant concept. Meanwhile, when you start, you're putting in 70 to 80 hours. There's going to be times where you're probably not making any money as the owner. And, you know, all the stresses and everything else that goes into it. Boy, oh boy, is it a tough thing to do. I'm telling you, like.
Well, and there's two ways people go about it. It's the like owner employee mentality.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm in the shop every day.
Yep.
I'm doing the prep. I'm getting everything ready. I'm cooking all day. I'm closing and I'll be back tomorrow doing it again. It saves you a lot on labor. The problem is,
but then you're cutting into your profit now too.
Yeah. The problem is it caps you at like what you can do with your business. So it's like if you could, cause I mean, me and you could spend our 40, 50, 60 hours a week and then we'd have way less employees if we're in the restaurant, you know, taking orders or smashing burgers all the time. But if that's what you're focused on and that's what you're doing, you can't, it's harder to continue to grow your business.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be tapped out at a certain point. And if you're trying to do everything in the restaurant, as well as everything of running the business, building the business, running the social media, doing a live stream podcast or anything else, you know, you're trying to do on the outside to grow your business.
Yeah.
You're just holding yourself back.
Which you have to do that in the beginning. I think unless you're like a successful restaurateur with a lot of money to back you.
You got to start there.
You have to start there because you can't hire a kitchen manager. You can't hire a front of house manager. You can't hire a GM because, you know, to pay someone $50,000 to run your kitchen and then someone else $60,000 to run the restaurant, that's a lot of labor that you're not going to have anyone to actually fill your kitchen.
Yeah.
Like if you have a 4,000 square foot manager, say you have a 2,000 square foot kitchen, like it doesn't matter if you do 50% of what you're supposed to do, you're still going to need a minimum level of people. And it's probably like 3 hourly employees or 2 hourly employees and a manager. But so like your labor costs, they don't scale like with your sales. They'll be the X axis on that or the Y axis is a lot higher. So it's like, until you actually hit that inflection point where you're making the numbers that you're supposed to, your labor is going to be really high unless you're there all of the time.
Yeah. I went into, it's funny how you think about things differently as your life progresses, but I went into Jimmy John's the other day to get myself a sandwich and there's 5 employees. The only customers was us, me and my wife and kids. There's 5 employees like standing behind there, like waiting for anybody to come in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I was like 2:30, I think, when we went in there. So I'm sure an hour and a half ago, it looked a lot different. You know, it's downtown Columbus. I'm sure it was busy and everybody was busy. But then as soon as the customers are gone, now you're paying 5 people to stand there and you can't have people work a 1 or 2 hour shift during the rush.
No.
You know, it's like, I'm sure people do it. They're like, all right, slow, get out of here. But good luck keeping any of your employees.
Yeah, because then you're going to have to, say you do cut some people, you know, inevitably you're going to get a 30-person rush and you're going to be, your product's going to suffer. Your employees are going to hate you. It's just going to be hell.
Yeah.
And like trying to build like a loyal base, you always have to have good quality and you have to have with some kind of like reasonable time frame. And that costs money, even if you're not making money.
Yep.
And then things break too. You have to get hoods cleaned that you didn't realize and you pay an extra $4,000 because it leaked in someone else's office space. Like there's so many other shit that slowly but surely cuts into your profits.
Yeah.
And like I said, 10% profit for a restaurant is like, that's an elite level. Like
that's great numbers.
That's great. And I mean, this is obviously talking about a restaurant that's essentially all of the pieces are in place where it's running itself. You have the KM, you have the GM, you have all that stuff. Right. After that, the owner's taking the 10%, but they're basically hands off. That's really, really good. So if you expect to be hands off in your restaurant and like, I don't know, the first 2 years, you're going to fail. Chance. I think you're just going to fail. Well, or you have $200,000 just to flush down the toilet.
Right.
Which would be,
we
don't. And it's probably a good thing because I think we've learned so much more because we've been in the trenches the whole time.
Well, and that's the thing is like if you're in the restaurant all the time, you're the one doing everything. If the rush happens and your business starts going up, it's like you have to hire people quickly to train them. Whereas if you're out of the restaurant doing less of that, like if we get slammed on any day, we can hop in there and help out. You know, we're essentially two people that can work an extra 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
If we need to, you know, while we're getting more people. So it kind of sets us up in a good spot if and when the rush ever comes, you know, but as things grow, it's like, it's easy for one of us to hop in and help out, or people call in sick. We're not necessarily down a man. It means that one of us is going to go help out.
Yeah.
But I think it more strategically puts us in a spot where there's less that can go wrong, you know, cause we're plussed up with our employees without us, you know, and everything's working if something happens, and we're there to catch it before it topples over.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if all that made sense, but it was basically like, I keep thinking about, I always crunch our numbers like at the start of the week, just see how close we are to being, you know, profitable.
Yeah.
Like actually making money, actually cutting away at the dents that we've accumulated. But it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't surprise me that you see so many restaurants closing down. Because, even if it's like 10, 15 years, what it probably was a lot of times is probably just an owner who was burnt out, who couldn't just keep doing it. But unfortunately, because I would guess that their rent was too high, they couldn't find that point where they could be out of the business and making enough money to hire a manager.
So you're working all the time.
Because you're all the time and you're doing all the general management, plus the, 50 other things that you have to do as the owner, like with insurance and taxes and lawyers and all of the other stuff. I'm sure after 15 years, you're just like, this is not worth it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've told several people this. It was an Army Ranger with 2 deployments, went to Ranger school, was a cop for 5 years, did SWAT school, was a presidential campaign security. And this is by far the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Which looks easy when we're just chilling here doing this, but it's like, it's not a clock in, clock out job.
No.
You know, it's not for us. It's all the time. And, no, if you have a bad month, you feel it, you know, which is crazy because it's not, they like the haircut.
Did they? Yeah. Thank you.
John France. 2455. Okay. He ain't talking about my haircut.
Well, he might be.
But yeah. No, it
doesn't work.
I forgot where I was going with that. I got distracted by the chats, but yeah. Definitely the hardest thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like skill wise, maybe not, but as far as like constant stress, anxiety, exhaustion, and frustration, yeah. Which luckily we were, and I'm maybe speaking more for myself, I don't know about you, but luckily we did do those things because it builds a very high level of resiliency where it's like, this sucks, but at least I'm not freezing my balls off and there's no end in sight. And like, I can't feel my fingers and haven't been able to feel my fingers for like 3 days. Yeah. No one's shooting at you. You're not starving or like sleep deprived unless you have, sometimes you will.
We never go hungry.
Yeah. So, nice thing. There's parts of like physically and mentally that are harder about those like military and like probably police officer.
Yeah.
But as far as like all encompassing, this is, yeah. I've never been as anxious in my life as I have been.
Well, all those things like in the military, you're at Ranger school. It's like, there's an end.
Yeah.
I just got to graduate.
Yep.
Then it's over.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, or you're, whatever. There's always an end. If I get through this, then we're good.
Yeah.
I'll be on the other side. I'll be, sipping a margarita by a pool. In the restaurant business, it's like everything's always changing.
Yeah.
I mean, like we weren't around during COVID, but I can't imagine what it would be like when it's just like that. All right, your business is done. Close up. Good luck surviving.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody saw that coming, and nobody was preparing for that, saving money for when everything shuts down. But week to week, there's such a change. Month to month, there's such a change. And it's like everything matters. The weather, what's going on downtown. So it's like, it's not a business where you're going to do, every month. It's not like a subscription based thing where like, we got these subscriptions, how much you're making every month. It's like a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
See what happens.
No, it's something that I've realized, like, you hear about it in a lot of, like you said, as a cop, like the 5-year point, like there's a lot of like other careers where it's like, if you haven't been doing it for like 5 to 10 years, you're a baby. You have no idea what you're doing. Yeah. You shouldn't speak to anything with authority because like you haven't done it. And the amount of stuff we've learned in just like 2 years of owning a restaurant, like we're literally infants in this business.
Oh yeah.
I could see how you could be successful restaurateur and like open multiple concepts, but that takes 10, 15, 20 years for you to get good at this. We're still really, really bad at it.
Oh yeah.
Like I think we've been able to like reduce a lot of the learning curve just because we're like so bullheaded, like that Ranger mindset of like, there's no problems that you can't solve. And you're just going to keep hitting your head against the wall until you bust down the door. Yeah. It's the same thing. We won't fail because we just refuse to, but boy, we are so stupid on like where we're at from where we'll be 10 years from now.
Yeah. It was we were talking to Mikey from Mikey's Late Night. And he's like, I am on year 16 of my 10-year plan. Yeah. Like that's 100% spot on. Because you go into it of, what you think could actually be. Yeah. And you're always going to skew the numbers in your favor until reality sits in. And then you're like, all right, this is going to take a little while. We might be here a minute.
Yeah, seriously. But hey, at least it's fun. I mean, we're still learning a ton.
Yeah, what do we got in the chats?
Thank you for the haircut. I just got it today. Shout out Barber Mike at the Annex.
The Annex. Yeah. Voted like number 1 best barbershop.
Oh, yeah. For a good reason.
Yeah, Bethel?
Yep.
So we got a chat from John France 2455 that says, yeah, Jared needs one. He looks like a homeless guy. Thank you.
See, I like the whole point. I like it's like the trailers.
The yachts.
That's by design.
I feel like we got to change our Instagram handles to that. Yeah. The trailer. Jared the trailer. Pull the yacht.
Yeah.
Or Willie from Duck Dynasty. I am kind of going for a Duck Dynasty look.
It's good. Man, I couldn't do it. My beard was getting so dry. And just like in everything, I was like, I'm just going to trim this down. I'll grow it back, but
I just got a new product.
Did you?
It's what's it called? Viking Revolution or something like that. But it's
I like it.
Conditioner and beard wash. 2 bottles, not like 2 in 1. 2 separate bottles. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of
crazy. You use some, but you shaved.
Well, it's funny. I think it's harder to have a beard in the winter for me than it is the summer because it's just so dry and itchy and just like it feels like shit. But
yeah. No, I've gotten to the point where my hair is just completely taken over. There's no more fighting it.
Yeah.
This is me now. I'm like 95% of my head is just hair.
Yeah.
Grown and growing.
Also, chat, how's the sound is good still? No echoes?
No complaints.
I think we fixed it, but just want to make sure.
No complaints yet. I think we're good. I think this is why they have things called producers.
Yeah.
People that are like monitoring what is going on for
like
the world.
Producers who have been doing it for like 15 years because they know what they're doing. Again, we're doing something where it's like, we'll figure it out. Should be fine.
Yeah, it's how Brandon today, he's like, why do you have this light set up like this? I'm like, I don't know. Seemed like a good place to put it at the time.
Oh, because that one was on me and that one was on you, right?
No, they're the same. They're just more centered over here.
Oh, gotcha.
Shining at us. So he just adjusted them. But things like, I mean, you can watch videos and kind of like YouTube and learn how to do things.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be an expert unless you spend a lot of time like actually learning something. So sometimes it's nice to just bring in somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about and be like, hey, can you fix this?
Yeah.
Make it look nice.
Yeah.
But I'll get on him about the echo. I'll blame it on him.
It was his fault.
It was his fault. He should have known.
Free
you can't
advice.
You can't leave me alone in here. All right. Where are we at on our...
Oh, is this our trailers to yacht segment?
Yeah, the segment.
I love this.
I wanted to call it Between the Buns.
Between the Buns? I hate that so much. It's like people who want to call our sauce smash sauce.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No. I like the nautical themes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from last week to this week, are we trailers? Are we heading towards yachts?
Ooh. I think let's go as a month as a whole. I think we're stepping one small step in the yacht direction.
Yeah, I think we're closer to yachts for sure. Last week we had top 4 or 5 best weeks in the restaurant. So for the middle of January, the first of the month, pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
We're basically doubling what we were doing last year.
Which, to be fair, we didn't have a bar.
We didn't have a bar.
We weren't open Tuesdays.
And we raised our prices a little bit because beef went up. But
yeah, so we're open more days. We're open more hours now. We also have the bar. So we have some things going in our favor. But no, I mean, last year we had a big jump December to January as well.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because everyone says the January is the slowest month. January and July are the slowest months for restaurants.
I think for 5 years, we're not going to be what a normal restaurant is.
Yeah.
Because we're not in a developed spot.
Yeah. And every month is
there's
a slow
literally,
month for us.
we cannot base our numbers on any peers because we don't have any peers in the same situation that we are with where we're at. It's like we can kind of get things that echo what we're doing, Echo Spirits, not them, but
Echo
shout
Stream.
out to Echo Spirit. But yeah, it's just kind of waiting and seeing and looking in retrospect, like what was last year? Okay. We can kind of maybe figure out it's going to be like this. But yeah, I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. I think this week's going to be a little bit slower because it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
And there's a Arctic vortex coming in or something.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be able to open on Sunday.
Yeah. If we can't, well, that's fine.
We'll see.
So the next week we'll be heading towards trailers again.
Yeah, next week we're gonna be. I think we need like either a scale on here, or I'll make one that pops up on here for the.
I want like a little boat.
Yeah.
Or like one of those holographic things that switches the picture as you look at it.
It's like a trailer.
It's us either like homeless
broke on one side and on a yacht.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be sweet. But what about? I think another thing we can talk about is just goals going into either next week or just kind of like this next quarter.
Yeah, our primary focus has been the bar, I think. Which I say primary focus, but we have 15 million things we're focusing on all the time. So we're kind of all over the place, but that's one thing that we have been trying to put more attention in, and focus towards is figuring out the bar scene, getting that thing rolling.
Which I think with bars, it's more of a promotion kind of thing that you have to do. And I think one thing that we've realized is being in the trenches for a bar is probably one of the worst things you can do as an owner. You kind of have to take a step back, make sure your bartenders are trained, and then get people to your bar.
Yeah.
And that requires you not to be behind the bar or in the kitchen all the time. So I think getting our leads and all of our people trained up, kind of like that next step where it's like, here's a little bit more responsibilities. Now I'm going to be taking a pretty big step back. I want you guys to be able to handle like 95% of the problems that are going to happen and putting the systems in place to make sure that we're not burning our restaurant down, which I don't think any of them would, but that's just being hyperbolic, but like making sure orders are getting made correctly, things are getting taken care of, good customer service, all of the core tenets that we have for our restaurant are still like being maintained when we're not there. Yeah. And so we're getting to the point where, more responsibilities, we can start paying people more. And that's kind of always been our limiting factor is making money.
Yep.
But we're getting there.
It takes money to make money.
It sure does.
That is what they say. All right. These are,
this is going to be my least favorite segment moving forward.
Really? This is
I
my
hate
favorite.
this so much.
This is my favorite. So this is my new segment that I designed specifically for this show. After laughing at some of our comments that we got on the internet, this is a brutal place. So these are our TikTok comments of the week. This is a bad podcast, obviously, but he has a point.
You want to put a little bit of context to that?
Just one of the shorts we posted from last week's episode where I couldn't remember who I was even talking about. I think that was that one.
Grant Horval, right? The golf one?
Hobart.
Hobart.
Well, I don't know. Hobart, Grant Horvat apparently is his name. But man, I pissed off the golfers of TikTok. They came for my head.
Yeah.
Like they're ready to meet me at the trash or by the dumpster. So the next comment we got said, if you can't remember the name Grant Horvat, then you shouldn't be commenting on YouTube golf, man. And I responded, I said, that is valid.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad. You're right.
We shouldn't be commenting on half the stuff that we're commenting on, but that's not going to stop us.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
And the third one's my favorite. It says, you guys are lame.
See, that one struck deep. I mean, I know we're lame, but come on, man.
He didn't even want to waste his time insulting us.
Well, he still took the time. Can you imagine scrolling through something and being like, I hate these people so much, I'm going to leave a comment. Like that's targeted.
Yeah. The first two were at me. I think that one is more directed at you, though.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy said I have a point, though.
Yeah.
I was talking about the Internet Invitational. This is a terrible podcast, but I guess he's got a point.
Yeah, I think this segment eventually has to evolve into where we get them on the podcast and have them kind of
call them out.
Yeah, talk us through their comment.
Yeah, next time I'll put their TikTok name on there. Give them a little shout out.
Yeah, dude. Might give them a little publicity.
Because if they commented on our shorts are going to keep popping up in their algorithm.
Yeah.
And then they're going to see us talking about them.
Yeah, I like it.
I am here for it. That's all I got for our TikTok comments. But you got anything else, or do you want to wrap it up?
I think we can wrap it up. This was a good cast. Yeah. I like the new structure. I think it's going to keep us on track. We got the comment that there was a lot of awkward pauses and us talking about us not knowing what to talk about.
Yeah, and I
think this one was a lot less like that.
I even came prepared this time. Check this out. Oh, you don't have headphones on.
Just describe it to me.
Crickets.
Hey. The problem with that is now you're turning completely.
Yeah, no, that's why I haven't used it yet.
Oh, I guess that's another thing. I don't know if this is a short term, but maybe medium term goal is getting a producer and like more people on the content side of things.
Yeah. See what happens with that.
Yeah. I like to think the more content we do, the more doors that'll open. And we might as well be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, the internet already loves our content.
Yeah.
So. No, the best part about the one that they're insulting me on is you said that the end of the short, you said that we should do like streams of us golfing.
Yeah.
That's where I said it'd be worse than watching us live. I'm like, I'm already insulting myself, guys. Come on. You don't got to come after me like that. But anywho, we're wrapping this thing up.
Yeah.
We got a shout out for the crickets. So
yeah, you see our Instagram handles below. Don't forget to follow also at Smash Buddies Burgers. And if you're watching the stream, you like what you see, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. That's what everyone says. So I'm saying it. And obviously, all the people who chatted today, our board of advisors, we thank you. The more we get like activity in our chat, the more we're able to push the stream. And so hopefully the more that this gets in front of people who like can actually get something from this, like new restaurant owners, to know that you're not alone.
Yeah. And
we see you.
If you want a chance to be featured on our show, just go on our TikTok and insult us in the comments.
Yeah.
You might get brought up.
Or YouTube shorts too. That too.
Boom. That's it. We are out of here. Smash you later.
Later, taters.